Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope your day is going well. Today we're going to be discussing the two new units that are coming to global, which were data mined, of course, courtesy of someone, I guess. But yeah, obviously the units that are going to be coming are going to be both of the ZELDRISes. Now on JP they didn't necessarily release both commandments at the same time. I don't remember if they did that. They did for a few of them, but not all of them. Global does that specifically, bar Galland. Galland is the only one that had like two different banners for two different commandments, but other than that, global does release every single commandment with their, general pool counterpart. So ZELDRIS, right? These guys are gonna shake up the meta if the global players know what they're doing and stuff. So let's start off with blue ZELDRIS. Now let me keep it frank, blue ZELDRIS is the only person that's going to be on global that you'll be able to use and know that he will reliably be, like, how can I say, your counter of Lost Vein. Because blue ZELDRIS, he can absolutely destroy Lost Vein. Obviously ungeared PvP, you'll probably need 3 of these skills, but geared PvP, man, you get a level 2 of his slash hack or 2 level 1s and Lost Vein's dead, man. Blue ZELDRIS is very deadly. He's technically speaking, he's a worse version of Levi in a sense, in that what Levi does better than ZELDRIS is that he guarantees his crits, right? But ZELDRIS does more damage than Levi, and of course has more CC, and of course has a fantastic commandment. But if he doesn't crit and his main thing is critting, then it kind of defeats the purpose. But let's just say that blue ZELDRIS crits all the time, right? He is 10 times better than Levi could ever be. Now of course ZELDRIS does have really high crit chance. However, some people say that he rarely crits and stuff like that, which, to be honest, on JP, I never had a problem with him critting. It's just RNG, whenever I use blue ZELDRIS, and I did use him a long time ago on my channel. I say a long time ago, but it was a while ago on my channel. I was very excited about ZELDRIS. He was my favorite unit to use for a long time, because when he does work, he is incredibly deadly, like very deadly. He can one shot even two shot even one shot units depending on what gear you have on him and stuff. So yeah, this guy, if you are sick and tired of this Lost Vein BS, I guarantee you're gonna want one copy of this guy. Just literally one copy of this blue ZELDRIS. That's all that I had, one copy, and I was taking out Lost Veins for fun. So yeah, obviously first skill is Spike, 2 times crit damage increase. His passive, he increases his crit damage when his ultimate gauge is depleted by 1 up to 3 times. So you can manually, or if the opponent decreases your gauge, which does tend to happen quite a lot if you're facing a Merlin, you're facing a Lily or something like that, he will increase his crit damage by 90%, which of course, let's just say you have all of his passive active. With the Spike, you are basically giving him an extra 180% crit damage, which is huge. It's absolutely huge. Like if like the difference between him not built up at all and him built up to max is huge. It's a massive difference. Of course, this is all at the leisure of, you can control this yourself if you really want to. You can proc his passive. Granted, it's gonna take you one of your skill slots, but if you have nothing but his cards in your hand and you want to make him do more damage, you can definitely proc it, because his commandment is absolutely incredible. By far the best commandment. Maybe Drolls might be a bit better depending on what we're talking about, but Drolls not in the game, so he doesn't matter. ZELDRIS' commandment removes debuffs from allies and enemies that moved skills and depletes 1 ultimate gauge. So he makes any debuff unit in the game completely useless, because all you have to do is move 1 card and the debuff is gone. So because of ZELDRIS, you're gonna see the use of units like King less and less. Obviously, the tricky thing about it is that if you want to use the other ZELDRIS, which we'll get to in just a sec, the commandment isn't that relevant. But with this ZELDRIS, I guarantee you're not going to be running units that debuff. So You'll be able to use this commandment at your leisure. You will suffer no debuff from it. You'll lose 1 ult gauge, but heck, you're removing that annoying attack seal, or you're removing that that petrify, or whatever the case may be. Whatever debuff you're removing, you'll be able to do it, right? So very, very good stuff. His second skill, despair, recovers 15% of HP if he crits, and this has multiple attacks, so very, very likely to crit, almost guaranteed to crit. And of course his ultimate is spike, so he has the exact same skill set as Levi. He just has a passive that technically, when fully built up, is much better than Levi's, but by default, since Levi's basically gives him 100% crit chance, ZELDRIS doesn't have 100% crit chance, so I guess there's that little bit of balance, right? But yeah, fantastic fantastic skill set, no, fantastic kit, but it's a bit RNG, right? So that's blue ZELDRIS. Like I said, if you want to deal with lost veins, you're gonna want to get this guy. 1/6 is all you need. He is in the general pool. You can absolutely get the guy from from your part 2 ticket or whatever the heck, so don't worry about that. Next up is red ZELDRIS. Red ZELDRIS is he's really, really interesting because he's seen an absolute ton of play on JP, on all kinds of meta teams, because he's like an how can I say it? He's like a red Arthur and a green Merlin put together, whereas technically he buffs your allies depending on how many commandments are on your team and on the opponent's team, right? So if they're running commandments and you have commandments, you're gonna get the buff from both sides of the field. So let's just say you just have a ZELDRIS and the opponent also has a ZELDRIS. That's gonna be 12% increase to base stats of all allies just for having commandments on the field, right? So that is huge. Like 6%, I guess technically you will need like 2 units on both sides for it to equal like an Arthur buff or something, but you get what I mean, right? He has the commandment and stuff, depletes 1 ult gauge, and seals recovery skills. This is like an incredibly disruptive kit. It's very, very disruptive. Now, for his kit to work completely, and when I say completely, I mean just for the skill 2 to work, really, you don't want this guy to have his commandment active. You're gonna have to run another commandment, because of course, if his commandment is active and then you disable the recovery skills of an enemy king, and ZELDRIS is your only commandment, then the enemy king can just move his card and remove that debuff. So doesn't really work too well. So to make use of his second skill, you kind of do have to run him with a commandment, so that you overturn ZELDRIS' commandment, you get a different one, so this one doesn't affect it. But other than that, generally speaking, fantastic skill set. He's seen like so much play, especially with Goddess Elizabeth. When he came out in the part 2 of the anniversary, he was on the meta team there, and then when Draw and all that good stuff came out, he was also on the meta team there. He's also really good in PvE, very, very, very good in PvE as well. Tower of Trials or Challenge Tower, whatever the heck they call it, he's used there. He's used in story. He's even used in I think it's Guild Boss. They even use him in Guild Boss. So yeah, this ZELDRIS is a very, very good unit. He is also, from what I believe, I'm not completely sure, but I'm pretty sure he is either the first or the second unit ranked in highest CC. It might be the Festival King now. I think Festival King might be a little higher than ZELDRIS, but when ZELDRIS comes to global, he is the highest CC unit that you're going to be able to get. So that's another thing to think about. So yeah, red ZELDRIS, maybe right now he won't be as useful just because there's not too many commandments, but later on he's going to become very useful. Of course, he is a coin shop unit, so don't worry if you don't get him. You'll eventually get him with coins, no problem about that. Like I said, both of these ZELDRISes don't really need ult dupes. Spike, it's just a very powerful effect to have in your ultimate on a unit who can crit. So yeah, anyway guys, that's going to be pretty much it for these two. Both ZELDRISes are going to be really good. The blue ZELDRIS, depending on your RNG, you might have a bit of a tough time trying to get him to work, but I got him to work without needing to give him any crit chance gear or anything like that if you're playing geared, and even in ungeared I managed to make him work, so it shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the two new units that are coming. I know they're not like, you know, confirmed to be coming, but trust me guys, coming from the most reliable source that we have, that's not Netmarble, these guys will be coming, so don't you worry about that. But anyway, that's gonna be it for the video guys. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in my next video, where maybe, depending on when these guys release, I'll summon for them. But yeah, till then, take care.